Imagine a city where almost 2,000 people are feared dead due to a catastrophic event. This is the grim reality for Derna, Libya today. In the wake of Mediterranean storm Daniel, this eastern coastal town is grappling with an unimaginable loss. The death toll, currently confirmed at 61, is feared to rise starkly, with thousands reported missing. The scale of the disaster is beyond comprehension. The city's infrastructure, already fragile due to years of neglect, crumbled under the weight of the storm. 2 dams collapsed, unleashing a lethal flash flood that swallowed homes, lives, and hopes. The result? A city plunged into darkness, devoid of electricity or communication. A city reduced to rubble where the silence is broken only by the search for survivors. And the numbers are staggering. While the official death toll is yet to be confirmed, there are fears that it could rise to as high as 20,000. Yes, you heard it right. 20,000 lives potentially snuffed out in an instant. This is not just a tragedy for Libya but a heartbreaking event for the world. But what led to this catastrophic event? It all started with Mediterranean storm Daniel. The storm, with its powerful winds and relentless rain, lashed the eastern coastal towns of Libya, causing widespread devastation. The flooding, however, was not solely a result of the storm. 2 dams, neglected for years, collapsed under the strain of the torrential downpour. With no robust structures to hold back the deluge, water gushed into the towns, swallowing streets, homes, and lives. But why were the dams neglected? Since the uprising in 2011, Libya has lacked a central government. This political vacuum has resulted in minimal investment in infrastructure, leaving the country's dams, roads, and buildings in a state of decline. The city of Derna, for instance, was particularly vulnerable due to its crumbling infrastructure. What's more, the storm hit a region that was already under strain. Eastern Libya, including Derna, was previously controlled by extremist groups until they were expelled by forces loyal to the East-based government in 2018. This upheaval left the region's infrastructure even more neglected and vulnerable. With such a devastating storm and a crumbling infrastructure, the stage was set for disaster. The immediate impact of the flood was nothing short of apocalyptic. In the blink of an eye, cities were reduced to rubble, infrastructure crumbled, and thousands of lives were tragically lost. The city of Derna bore the brunt of the disaster, its already fragile state further shattered by the floodwaters. Electricity and communication networks were wiped out, leaving residents in a state of isolation and fear. The official death toll stood at 61 but didn't include Derna, where it's feared up to 2,000 people perished. But the devastation didn't stop at Derna. Towns across eastern Libya such as Baida, Susa, Shahat, and Omar al-Mokhtar also felt the wrath of the storm, with casualties and damage reported on a heartbreaking scale. The Libyan Red Crescent was not spared either, losing 3 workers with dozens more unaccounted for. In the aftermath of the flood, the scale of the disaster began to emerge. Infrastructure was destroyed, lives were uprooted, and the death toll continued to rise. The situation was described as catastrophic, a heartbreaking scene of devastation and loss. In the aftermath of such a disaster, the world has been called to action. The United Nations, along with other international partners, has issued an urgent call for humanitarian assistance. The devastation wrought by the flood has been so severe that it has touched the hearts of nations worldwide, prompting swift pledges of support from foreign governments. Rescue teams from Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar have already arrived in Libya, working tirelessly to provide aid and assistance to the affected areas. These international efforts are not only about providing immediate relief, but also about helping Libya rebuild in the long term. In an unusual display of unity, the rival governments in Libya have set aside their differences to coordinate relief efforts. In the face of such an enormous tragedy, political disputes have taken a back seat to the urgent task of saving lives and restoring communities. Despite the scale of the disaster, the global community has come together to provide much-needed support. The road to recovery will be long and arduous, but with the world standing together with Libya, there is hope for a brighter future. In the face of such a catastrophe, it's important to remember the key points. The devastating floods in Libya, caused by Mediterranean storm Daniel, have resulted in a feared death toll of up to 20,000 people. The city of Derna was the hardest hit, with its crumbling infrastructure unable to withstand the onslaught of water following the collapse of 2 dams. This disaster has not only caused an immense loss of life, but also a significant disruption in oil exports, leading to a surge in global oil prices. The aftermath paints a grim picture with towns and cities left without electricity or communications, and a dire need for humanitarian assistance. International efforts are underway to provide aid and support to the devastated regions, but the true scale of the disaster is yet to be fully realized. The catastrophe in Libya is a stark reminder of the need for global cooperation and investment in infrastructure to prevent such disasters in the future. Our thoughts go out to all those affected in this tragic event. Before we conclude this video, we'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all our viewers. Your continuous support helps us provide you with the most accurate and thorough coverage of global events. We strive to shed light on important issues like the catastrophe in Libya, and your support plays a crucial role in that. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to our channel. By doing so, you'll stay updated with our latest content, and contribute to a community that values informed discourse. We believe that knowledge is power, and together, we can make a difference. Thank you for being part of our mission. Stay tuned for more updates and in-depth analyses on global events.